Where are you taking us? That question sits at the center of our moment, not shouted, not trending, but quietly present in the background of everything. We ask about politics, about culture, about the future we are building together. And the honest answer is complicated because most of the systems around us weren't created out of malice. They were created out of fear, fear of loss, fear of extinction, fear of repeating the worst chapters of our past. When people feel threatened, they look for higher ground. They create distance, they draw lines, they tell stories that help them survive. At first, those stories are practical, they explain danger, they offer clarity, they keep communities intact. But over time, survival stories harden the unquestioned truths. Rules get written, then rewritten. They carve so deeply into the culture that no one remembers why they exist, only that breaking them feels dangerous. To protect ourselves, we simplify others. We turn complex people into categories. We reduce neighbors to symbols, not because we are cruel, but because complexity requires patience, and fear rarely allows that luxury. So we build systems that keep things running smoothly. We stay busy, we follow routines, we trust that if everyone keeps doing their part, the machines will hold. And often it does. But sometimes, quietly, we begin to notice the steam. We realize the ground isn't as solid as we thought. We sense that some of the truth we inherited were designed more to preserve stability than to invite understanding. This is where things get difficult because curiosity doesn't arrive politely. It disrupts. It asks uncomfortable questions. It looks beyond the clouds and wonders what's really there. Curiosity is powerful, not because it destroys, but because it reveals. And revelation always carries risk. Not every truth lands gently. Not every system survives inspection unchanged. That's why societies wrestle with information, why leaders, institutions, and even families struggle with how much truth is too much and when. Control can feel like care, silence can feel like responsibility. And yet, history shows us something important. Fear alone cannot sustain a future, it can only delay reckoning. Most people don't believe, but they believe because they want to dominate others. They believe it because at some point that belief helped them feel safe, that deserves understanding or ridicule. But safety without reflection becomes stagnation. Eventually, each generation reaches a moment when it realizes knowing is in power, knowing is obligation. Once you see the system, once you understand how stories are shaped, how information flows, how fear and care intertwine, you're faced with a choice that has no easy answer. Do you preserve what works knowing it's imperfect? Do you challenge what's inherited knowing change has consequences? Do you seek truth recklessly or responsibly? There's no slogan for that moment, no party line, no simple hero or villain. There's only judgment and humility and restraint. So the real question isn't whether we should let things lie or tear everything down. The real question is whether we can hold two truths at once, that protection matters and so does honesty, that fear is human and so is curiosity. Now that you know more than we did before, now that we see both the machine and the people inside it, what are we going to do with our responsibility? Because the future isn't shaped by what we are told, it's shaped by what we choose to do with what we know.